What's so great about Britain? Now, the thing is that gatherings of all these people, the World Bank, and if not the most important. What is Xi Jinping doing that is so important, more important than G20? And I'll tell you 3 reasons why. Pakistan thought that they could treat Afghanistan as their 5th state. Now, Pakistan has 4 states or 4 provinces, and they could treat Afghanistan as their backyard, as their 5th province. And Gen friends, I'm Major Gaurav Arya and you're watching the Chanakya Dialogues English. Like this video, subscribe to our channel and don't forget to press the bell icon. Especially those friends who watch our videos but do not subscribe and do not press the bell icon, please do so. We welcome your support, we welcome and we look forward to your encouragement. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the news is that, the Nobel prizes are around the corner. Nobel Peace Prize, Nobel Prize for Economics, Nobel Prize for this and that. So, this is a massive, huge ceremony. It's been institutionalized over 100 years and everybody looks forward to it. So, this has also become a big diplomatic tool. Now, this time, last time also they said Russia and Belarus not invited. This time they invited Russia, Belarus and Iran, but there was a huge uproar. There was a massive uproar. How can Russia invade Ukraine? And, Iran is anyway a lost cause. So why invite all these people? So now they have withdrawn the invitation. So Russia, Belarus and Iran will no longer be represented in the Nobel Prizes this year. Now, this smells of the West's hypocrisy. And let me expose the West today for you in easy to understand terms. So, the charge against Russia is that it invaded Ukraine. Of course it did. Was Russia right to do so? Russia may have had legitimate reasons, but war is never right. So, do you disagree with Russia? Do I disagree with Russia invading Ukraine? Yes. While I understand Russia's reasons, while I understand that NATO would have come to Russia's doorstep, and while I understand that the West has been pushing Ukraine to do this and is still arming and financing Ukraine to fight against the Russians, the fact of the matter is in today's day and age, like Prime Minister of India, Prime Minister Modi said, this is not an era of war. Russia should not have invaded Ukraine. That invasion was wrong. So far, so good, understood. Now, how is it that the Americans who have waged war on every continent, how is it that the Americans who are the only nation on earth to have used atomic weapons against a hapless population? I'm talking about 1945, Hiroshima and Nagasaki. How is it that the Americans use Agent Orange? They use napalms on civilians. They wipe out villages. They invade countries. They invade, at least Russia had cause. I'm not saying that that cause was justified or not justified. I'm not going there. As I said, I disagree with what Russia has done. But the fact of the matter is, Russia invaded Ukraine because Russia felt threatened by NATO. My question is, when the US invaded Iraq, who did it feel threatened by? Why did it invade? Why did it invade Iraq? Why did it invade Libya? Was Osama bin Laden from Libya? Was he from Iraq? No. Osama bin Laden was essentially a Yemenis, originally a Yemenis, who was then a Saudi. I mean, all their games in Central America, in southern part of America, all their games in Vietnam. I mean, what threat was Vietnam to the United States of America? I'd just like to wrap my head around this and try to understand this entire nonsense. So, America can do whatever it wants, right? And the world plays by different rules. But if Russia invades a country, it's bad. Sure, it's bad. But then most of your American presidents should be declared war criminals. They should be in prison. Isn't it so? Now, the Nobel Prize is being used as a diplomatic tool. And this is what the East has not done. It's largely, been left out of this loop. All the institutions that are valued are in the West. They're all in the West. They're all a creation of the West. We have been led to believe, what is the Mecca of cricket, Lords? This used to be a question during our school days. The inter-house quiz in our schools. What is the Mecca of cricket? It's Lords. Who made Lords the Mecca of cricket, by the way? Mecca as in the holy place for the Muslims, Mecca. So anything which is the greatest among that is called the Mecca of this and Mecca of that. So Ascot is the Mecca of horse racing, and Wimbledon is the mecca of tennis, and who declared Wimbledon to be the mecca of tennis? The British did. And why in God's name are they calling it Great Britain? What's so great about Britain? Now, the thing is that all these people, the World Bank and every other thing, the International Court of Justice and everything, so they have, these institutions are created by the West, and then they use these institutions to subjugate other countries. There should be a platform, in which you must take up cases like both Russia's invasion of Ukraine and America's invasion of Vietnam, of Korea, of Afghanistan, of Syria, American intervention in Yemen, also Russian intervention in that part, invasion of Libya. All these things you can't give a blank check to America and say that Russia is wrong. It doesn't work that way. Anyway, so this is what has happened, and they have used the Nobel Prize as a diplomatic tool, and I fear that when the Olympics happen, and if this conflict is still taking place, and if there are sanctions, they will try and sanction Russia out of the Olympics also. I'm sure that is going to happen, because Russia will not take part in the Olympics if Vladimir Putin is their president and there is a warrant out for his arrest by the West. What is the International Court of Justice? It's an extension of the United States of America or Europe. Now, in another news, ladies and gentlemen, it's now final that Xi Jinping is not coming to India. He's not coming, and they're sending their premier. China is sending their premier to attend the G20. Now, people are saying that Xi Jinping is otherwise, he's busy. G20 is amongst the most important gatherings of nations in the world. One of the most important, if not the most important. What is Xi Jinping doing that is so important, more important than G20? And I'll tell you 3 reasons why Xi Jinping has not come and is not coming for G20. Number 1, he knew that he would be publicly called to account for his country's shenanigans along the line of actual control, right? Taiwan, South China Sea. That is point number 1. Point number 2, trade. Trade is something that both India and America, Joe Biden, Prime Minister Modi, Prime Minister Rishi Sunak, all of them are going to get together. There is a free trade agreement which is happening between India and the UK. Everything that happens, you see, the way it is structured, in the long term, it's going to hit China very badly. China's economy is suffering badly. Their real estate, their banks, everything is going down. China's debt is 300 to 400% more than its GDP. How will China handle it? There are falling imports, there are falling exports. 5 months in a row, manufacturing has contracted. China is undergoing deflation. This is a wrong time for Xi Jinping to be going anywhere. He's just going to be insulted on all platforms, I'm telling you. Take this from me, Xi Jinping is going to be blasted everywhere. Especially because they're not doing the world any favors. What China is doing is trying to encroach upon people's territory, trying to issue maps that are wholly wrong, and trying to pressurize the smaller countries into surrendering and taking away their territory. This is what China is doing. But all this works to a certain extent when you're economically successful. People take your nonsense when you have money. When you run out of money, the same people call you out. Now, we were discussing this Nobel Prize thing, that Russia has not been invited and Iran has been told that you're violating human rights in Iran, so it's very bad that you're violating human rights. But will the Nobel Committee or will the West have the courage to tell this to China? That China, 1.5 million Uyghur Muslims are in jail for the only crime that they are born Muslim. Some of them are in jail because they named their children Muhammad. That's their crime. Some of them are in jail because they fasted during Ramadan. That is why they are in jail. There is no Uyghur terrorist who has blown himself up and killed a couple of Chinese. No. All those 1.5 million Uyghurs who are in prison because they are Muslims. And the world accepts that. The West, the hypocrisy of the West is such that they accept it. They say that's fine, that's okay, yeah, that's all right. A couple of million Muslims here and there doesn't really matter as long as we are getting our cheap Nikes and cheap Gucci's. That's what we want. Nobody calls China into account because their economic interests are tied with China. The West should take a deep look within and say that you are the people who created this monster called China. And today, all your national security reports are saying that your primary threat is China. Who created this primary threat? You, the United States of America, Europe, you created it. Your greed created this monster. Because you wanted cheap Nikes. Because your people wanted cheap Gucci bags. That is why this monster was created. And now you have this monster and you don't know how to deal with this monster. So now let me take you to Pakistan, ladies and gentlemen. Two quick news from Pakistan. One is regarding Imran Khan and the other one is regarding terrorism in Pakistan. Apparently in Pakistan, the previous month of August has seen an 83% rise in terror activities in Pakistan vis-a-vis July, the previous to previous month. So what is happening in Pakistan is, or what you're seeing is an absolute failure of Pakistan's Afghan policy. Absolute failure. Pakistan thought that they had Afghanistan, in their grasp. Pakistan thought that they could treat Afghanistan as their fifth state. Now, Pakistan has 4 states or 4 provinces, and they could treat Afghanistan as their backyard, as their 5th province. And there was huge jubilation in Pakistan when the Afghan Taliban took power, on the 15th of August. There was huge jubilation. And Prime Minister Imran Khan at that point in time spoke about a real freedom and how the Afghans have thrown out the Americans and they've achieved freedom. And those very Afghans, those very Taliban, within 4 weeks, started killing Pakistanis. And the Pakistanis cannot understand why this is happening. This is not a nation, I'm talking about Pakistan here, not a nation that is known for intellectual rigor. So to discuss and debate academically with a Pakistani is extremely difficult. There are a rare few who actually can do that. But the fact of the matter is that the Afghans very rightly blame the Pakistanis for causing bloodshed. And let me give you 2-3 examples. How Pakistan has been an absolute hypocrite of a nation while dealing with while dealing with everybody for that matter, but while dealing with Afghanistan more so. Ladies and gentlemen, the first thing that Pakistan did was, the Pakistanis are very fond of saying that we hosted 5 million Afghan refugees. And all Pakistani television anchors and all their so-called intellectuals, quote unquote, will say that, we are such a great nation, we are such fine people, our hospitality, we are such good Muslims. We hosted 5 million Afghans and now these Afghans are attacking us, and how ungrateful of them to have attacked us. But no Pakistani will tell you how those Afghans became refugees in the first place. Before 1979, were there any Afghan refugees coming and settling en masse in Pakistan? Were they doing it? No. Why? Because in 1979, Russia invaded Afghanistan and Pakistan took money from the CIA to start a covert war inside Afghanistan to oust the Russians. And that is how this entire refugee crisis came about. Pakistan took blood money from the CIA. Pakistan took blood money from the Americans. Pakistan created havoc and civil war inside Afghanistan, which is why hapless Afghans, poor Afghans, they ran away to save their lives. And why did they come to Afghanistan? They came to Afghanistan simply because there is a Pashto-speaking population here. In some of the border areas, tribal areas of Pakistan, the culture is almost the same. The language is the same. The food is same. The music, the way they conduct their society and their life, it is more or less the same. They felt comfort, so they came here. But why would anybody leave his house? Why would anybody leave his house? If, at that time, Afghanistan, for whatever it was, and even today, it's a sovereign country. Why would a person in his right mind want to go to Pakistan? All the Pakistanis want to go to Canada. All the Pakistanis want to go to Dubai or some country in Europe or United States of America or Australia or New Zealand. Don't you think that the Afghans felt the same way? Why did the Afghans want to come to Pakistan of all the places? They would have also wanted to go to, London and New York and such places. They came here because there was nothing left for them in Afghanistan. Pakistan turned Afghanistan into a hellhole. And when America left, or in the sense when CIA left, I'm talking about after 89, the Pakistanis kept on meddling, kept on interfering. The Taliban had come into focus by that point in time. And what the Pakistanis did was when they invaded again, the Americans after 9/11, the Pakistanis again took money, provided drone bases to these Americans, and the Pakistanis are responsible for the chaos, civil war, and deaths inside Afghanistan. They are the people who are responsible. And today, they're playing the victim card. So many people in Pakistan have died. So many innocent people. No, you are responsible, Pakistan. The Pakistani government, the Pakistani military is responsible for the death of Pakistani civilians. All those 80,000 who have died in terror attacks. You are responsible. Because you wanted to play Tarzan and you wanted to swing into Afghanistan. And Afghanistan swung back into Pakistan. That is what happened. Another news from Pakistan, ladies and gentlemen, is that Imran Khan, there's talks about deals going on that Imran Khan will leave everything and he'll go outside and he'll leave Pakistan. Imran Khan has said no. And here's the news that I have for you. Imran Khan clearly says, I will not leave Pakistan. There is, here he has vowed not to leave Pakistan, and he says there is no question of a deal. And he would never leave Pakistan. And this is what, I disagree with Imran Khan many a times. I disagree with Imran Khan. And I don't think that Imran Khan is the right guy to lead Pakistan. None of my business, actually. None of my business to figure out who's the right person to lead Pakistan. I don't agree with Imran Khan many a time. But one thing I'll say, the man is not a coward. The man is not a coward. He must be under so much of stress in that Atak jail. Everybody trying to, break him. But this man refuses to break. Difference of opinion on one side, ladies and gentlemen. I'll always have a difference of opinion with Imran Khan. But today, as an Indian, I can clearly say that Imran Khan is a brave man. Imran Khan is not afraid. This much I grant him. Our differences aside. So ladies and gentlemen, with this, I come to the end of the Chanakya Dialogues English video for the day. If you like this video, press the like button. Subscribe to our channel and don't forget to press the bell icon. Jai Hind, Vande Mataram, Bharat Mata Ki Jai.